Imagine a national park so massive that it contains more geothermal features than the rest of the planet combined, with over 10,000 bubbling hot springs, explosive geysers, and steaming vents that could literally melt your shoes in seconds. Sounds impossible, right? But this American wonder actually exists, and when you find out which park holds this insane record at number 1, your mind will be blown. Stick around because leaving before the final entry means missing the most spectacular natural phenomenon on Earth. Let's count down from number 10. At number 10, we have Banff National Park in the Canadian Rockies, where turquoise glacial lakes shimmer like liquid gemstones against snow-capped peaks. This 2,564 square miles wilderness was established in 1885, making it Canada's oldest national park and part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site that attracts over 4 million visitors annually. Lake Louise alone features water so impossibly blue from rock flour suspended in glacial melt that photographers have accused visitors of oversaturating their images, when in reality no filter is needed. The park is home to the famous Columbia Icefield, containing ice up to 1,200 feet thick that has existed for over 10,000 years. But if frozen beauty impresses you, wait until you see what's bubbling at number 9. Number 9 takes us to Plitvice Lakes National Park in Croatia, where 16 crystalline lakes cascade into each other through a network of waterfalls that changes configuration every single year. The park's unique geology creates natural dams of travertine, a type of limestone that grows about 1 centimeter annually, meaning the waterfalls literally build themselves higher over time. These ethereal waters shift from azure to green to gray depending on mineral content and viewing angle, creating an effect so surreal that it served as a filming location for adventure movies. The park welcomed over 1.7 million visitors in 2019, making it Croatia's most popular tourist attraction by a landslide. Speaking of dramatic water features, number 8 will leave you speechless. Number 8 brings us to Iguazu National Park in Argentina, home to the Iguazu Falls system, which dumps 450,000 cubic feet of water per second over 275 individual cascades stretching nearly 2 miles wide. Eleanor Roosevelt reportedly gazed at these falls and exclaimed, "Poor Niagara," because Iguazu is nearly twice as tall and incomparably wider than its North American counterpart. The surrounding subtropical rainforest harbors over 2,000 plant species and rare wildlife including jaguars, giant anteaters, and toucans that seem designed by a cartoonist. The most dramatic section, called the Devil's Throat, is a U-shaped chasm where 14 separate falls converge into a thundering abyss that generates mist visible from miles away. But waterfalls aren't the only way nature shows off, as you'll see at number 7. Number 7 is Fiordland National Park in New Zealand, covering a staggering 4,868 square miles of untouched wilderness where glacially carved fjords plunge over 1,600 feet deep into mountain walls that rise nearly vertical from the water. Milford Sound, the park's crown jewel, receives an astounding 268 inches of rain annually, making it one of the wettest inhabited places on Earth and creating hundreds of temporary waterfalls that appear within minutes during storms. The park is so remote and rugged that much of it has never been fully explored, with an estimated 60% remaining trackless and accessible only by helicopter or boat. Beneath the water's surface, a unique layer of fresh rainwater sits atop seawater, creating a dark environment where deep-sea species like black coral grow at unusually shallow depths of just 30 feet. The isolation here is intense, but number 6 offers an entirely different kind of remote beauty. At number 6, we have Torres del Paine National Park in Chilean Patagonia, where the iconic granite towers shoot nearly 9,000 feet straight up from the ground like nature's skyscrapers in a landscape of electric blue icebergs and golden grasslands. The park encompasses the Gray Glacier, part of the southern Patagonian ice field, which is the third largest freshwater reserve on the planet after Antarctica and Greenland. Wind speeds regularly exceed 100 miles per hour here, so powerful that they've shaped trees into permanently sideways growth and can literally knock hikers off their feet. Despite the extreme conditions, the park hosts guanacos, Patagonian pumas, and the endangered South Andean deer across its 700 square miles of protected wilderness. But extreme landscapes are about to get even more surreal at number 5. Number 5 showcases Zhangjiajie National Forest Park in China, where over 3,000 sandstone pillars soar up to 1,080 feet high, creating an alien landscape that directly inspired the floating Hallelujah Mountains in the movie Avatar. These quartzite sandstone formations have been sculpted over 380 million years by the expansion of ice in winter and erosion from plant growth, with some pillars less than 15 feet wide but taller than the Eiffel Tower. The park's glass bridge, spanning 1,410 feet between two cliffs and hovering 980 feet above the ground, is the world's longest and highest glass-bottomed bridge and has terrified millions of visitors since opening in 2016. Mist frequently rolls through the pillars at dawn, creating an ethereal sea of clouds that makes the peaks appear to float exactly like the movie depicts. Speaking of otherworldly beauty, number 4 looks like it belongs on another planet entirely. Number 4 is Namib Naukluft National Park in Namibia, home to the tallest sand dunes on Earth, with Big Daddy reaching a vertigo-inducing 1,066 feet high and glowing an intense orange red from iron oxide that has oxidized over millions of years. The Namib Desert is considered the world's oldest desert at approximately 55 million years old, and its dunes contain some of the driest places on the planet, receiving less than half an inch of rain annually. Diad Vley, a white clay pan dotted with 900-year-old dead camel thorn trees, creates a haunting contrast against the orange dunes and blue sky that photographers call the most surreal landscape they've ever captured. Despite the extreme aridity, specially adapted wildlife like oryx, springbok, and fog-basking beetles thrive by harvesting moisture from the Atlantic coastal mists. The desert is mesmerizing, but number 3 combines multiple ecosystems in ways that defy belief. At number 3, Jiu's Haigu Valley National Park in China contains impossibly colorful lakes that look photoshopped, with waters displaying vivid yellows, greens, blues, and purples all in a single body of water due to varying depths, calcium carbonate deposits, and algae concentrations. The park features 114 separate lakes connected by waterfalls, with the 5 flower lakes so transparent that submerged fallen trees from centuries ago remain perfectly visible and encrusted with brilliant yellow-green algae. Tragically, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck in 2017, altering some formations, but the park's remarkable geology has already begun naturally rebuilding through calcium carbonate deposition at a visible rate. The valley sits at elevations between 6,600 and 15,600 feet, creating dramatic seasonal changes where the same view transforms from emerald summer forests to explosive autumn gold to frozen winter wonderlands. This rainbow paradise is stunning, but it can't compete with the geological violence waiting at number 2. Number 2 is Vatnajökull National Park in Iceland, where Europe's largest glacier covers over 3,000 square miles and reaches depths of 3,000 feet, yet sits atop some of the country's most active volcanoes in a bizarre marriage of fire and ice. The park contains Dettifoss, Europe's most powerful waterfall, which churns 44,000 gallons per second over a 150-foot drop with such force that the ground trembles hundreds of feet away and mist soaks visitors from a quarter-mile distance. Crystal ice caves form naturally beneath the glacier each winter, creating surreal blue tunnels that glow like sapphires when light filters through centuries-old compressed ice. The Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon fills with icebergs that calve from the glacier and float toward the ocean, some reaching 5 stories tall and ranging from white to electric blue to black from volcanic ash. The clash of elements here is incredible, but nothing compares to the geothermal insanity at number 1. And finally, number 1, Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, the supernatural giant teased in our intro with over 10,000 geothermal features, more than all other geothermal areas on Earth combined. The park sits atop a supervolcano with a magma chamber measuring 37 miles wide that last erupted 640,000 years ago with a force 1,000 times more powerful than Mount St. Helens, ejecting enough material to bury Texas 6 feet deep. Old Faithful erupts approximately every 90 minutes, shooting up to 8,400 gallons of boiling water as high as 185 feet into the air, and it's just one of 500 geysers in a park that contains 2/3 of the world's total geysers. The Grand Prismatic Spring, larger than a football field at 370 feet wide, displays a rainbow of colors from deep blue centers to orange edges created by heat-loving bacteria that thrive in water reaching 189 degrees Fahrenheit. Yellowstone's Norris Geyser Basin has recorded ground temperatures of 459 degrees Fahrenheit just 1,000 feet below the surface, and some hot springs are acidic enough to dissolve metal, making this park a living, breathing, scalding testament to Earth's violent inner power. So which of these breathtaking parks would you actually visit, and which ones are too extreme even to consider? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I read every single one and love hearing your perspectives. Smash that like button and subscribe for a brand new top 10 every single day.